Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shelley Barry, and I'm very excited to be part of this wonderful days. I'll be sharing just 2 poems with you for the sake of time, and then a couple of short films. I'll be introducing the films after the poems, because once the lights are off, well, these are the extent of the lights being off, right? I think so. So, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so it's a mixed bag as I celebrate my retrospective of 21 years of filmmaking. So I'm going to start with a poem, and this one is called Introductions. I'm not the kind of poet who jumps around much. I never kneel on the stage or weave into the audience. In fact, you'll never find me doing anything theatrical up here. I don't burst into song, and I play no instruments. Perhaps I would, if I could, but all I have are my words. Words soft enough to penetrate and fall upon a place that listens. I'm not the kind of poet who finds words to rhyme, and I don't do haikus or sonnets and things that have structure. My words are like wild grass growing. They come in cross tides. They have their own alphabet. I'm not looking for the slap of applause on my back. Instead, I seek communion, where a word will fall out of me, carried by anything able to carry the heart, and will fall into you, filling a little tear that someone may have left there. I'm not the kind of poet who jumps around much. I never kneel on stage or weave into the audience. In fact, you'll never find me doing anything theatrical up here. I don't burst into song, and I play no instruments. Perhaps I would if I could, but all I have are my words. I also don't know the words to my poems. I have to read. I'll do one more. And this one's in the brochure. I'm so excited. It's called Story Time. We will write, gather stories unto ourselves and breathe them out. We will write for our ancestors, for unborn children, for I and I. We will write when all we have are words. Words will hold us. Words will sing to our tears. Words will spell out our laughter. We pound unbeaten drums. We carve our words on the walls of time. We write ourselves into history. Our mouths are open. Our hands seek the labor of our thoughts. Listen, hold your ears to the sky, for here begins our once upon a time. I'm going to stop with those 2 poems for the purpose of time and share with you some films from my retrospective. We're going to start with an extract from Holy Trinity of Being. It's the 2nd film in the series, and it's called Voice Over. But yeah, I think that's all I have that I can share with you in this time. So, yeah. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Tell us what's next.
What's next? I have 2 new films coming out this year. One is called Record or Record. You can read it both ways, and it's about transgender youth in Southern Africa. It's a feature-length documentary. And the other one is a short called In the Presence of Peacocks. And it's about illness. It's kind of a personal story again of illness, the passing of my father this year, and where to from here, you know. But those 2 are in post-production as we speak. So that's next.
Bravo. Best wishes with them. Thank you.
Shelley, just became aware of the amazing artist that you are. Well, I met you when you were were just a poet. And, and we were performing and that. And then I didn't realize, Shelley's going over to film. But this is such a beautiful, telling of that story, of that progress into and development into the great filmmaker you became. Thank you so much for that story.
Okay. My long lost friend. Yeah.
Thank you for that, elaborate memory. I could translate that to a thesis and it could go further.
Please do.
I was very captivated by the area of costing because there are unspoken narratives around, the Amatosa who are light-skinned were to adapt to the area and conform to coloredness. And unfortunately, when the elder dies or moves back into a village after 94, that story disappears, you see. So I'm very appreciative of the fact that you take us through even the smallest thing like a magical garden, which is very important, and it speaks to, the never-dying epistemologies of where we come from. And when someone watches this 20 years from now, they'll understand, the socialization and humanistic dynamics within what was then called classification of race during apartheid. So I wanted to thank you on that. But also I wanted to also thank you for the relationality that you created between yourself and Frida Kahlo. And that there's a part in the film, I think you got a family gathering. At the back of my mind, I thought, why does it seem like I'm watching an Italian/Portuguese family kind of thing? And there is some, interweaving in terms of, the narrative about the movements of people, especially in this particular country, whereby the narrative of the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean in terms of migration and indentured labor actually brought up these small communities that actually have multiple, cultural backgrounds. So that is something that I witnessed there. And strangely enough, as someone who comes from the Eastern Cape, I would have said that is in Cape Town actually, but there's some element of appreciation that I have because it's closer to home, whereby I too had family, then, who lived in Costin, and unfortunately, as I said, when the elder dies, the children just disperse or move to Joburg or Cape Town, and that particular memory is erased. So thank you for keeping up this memory. I think it piggybacks to what is really next. Hopefully it's more memories that we can translate into thesis and put them into teaching most perhaps, because when you're speaking to memory, particularly South African memory, it's always attached to violence. It's always attached to wanting to remember. It's always attached to how we are represented and how we represent ourselves currently right now. So, yeah.
Thank you. And there's such power in film to take research as well, So many important, so much research gathers dust or stays in hard drives. And there's such a wonderful way of taking that research as well and turning them into visual stories. So, keep writing.
Just the observation of the great tenderness of your work, which is really lovely. Because we are such a violent country and it is difficult to write, and it seems throughout all your work is this sort of tenderness, which I think sort of helps others to think, to smooth over. It's a sort of, I think your work helps other work to. So do you agree?
Yes. Sorry, I'll come to you. I wanted to know, where do you draw the strength? Because I think at times we get tired of life when we have given it our best, you know, where do you draw the strength in your darkest moments to continue with your work and living?
Thank you. I think the work is what keeps me going, actually. I wake up every day excited to write, literally to get out of bed, make coffee and write. That's like, let's go. And so the written word, and which is also translated onto the screen, is really, as I say, in the film, my living water. You know, that keeps me going, even if it's just journal writing, you know, or writing for a film, or trying to write a book, or, you know, we all have that passion, we all sitting here, we've come together because of words, right? That and the belief that there's beauty despite everything, and that there's so much love all around us, and engaging and communing with people, I think, yeah, keeps me interested to see what's next, I suppose. And lots of prayer.
I just want to know, because in most areas, particular black community, there were old cinemas. They are closed now. So I saw a cinema in Oberhausen. So I'm just wondering, is it still used as a cinema, the one you're talking about?
Sadly, no. It still exists as a building, but it was used as a church, and now I think there's nothing really happening there, which is very, very sad. But the cinemas have pretty much all closed down. You know, people are streaming. Many people are streaming or relying on traditional television. But that wonderful communal experience of cinema, I think we need to revive it, because there's nothing quite like watching something together, having that experience. Whenever I watch any of my work or someone else's work in a room with other people, it's a different experience. You know, it's an energetic thing as well. So I'm sorry, yeah, Loreno's, but it exists on the big screen. I'm sure we do need to wrap. Oh, there's someone.
Sorry, if I might just say thank you so much for sharing. And the quote that came to mind with the threads between the short stories and the excerpt is one by Frida Kahlo, where she talks about used to thinking she was the strangest person in the world, and kind of reflecting and connecting. And I was just appreciative of how in storytelling, the question of how we tell the stories is as important as the stories we tell. And that consciousness is not a binary between the individual and community, and not even a binary between the time as in now and past, but those kind of those blurrings and those mergings and the awakening that films and stories like yours present. Just to share that gratitude and that appreciation of kind of drawing on Frida Kahlo's quote, that that reminder that we're not alone, not simply in the abstract sense of individuals together, but in that energetic sense. So just to share that appreciation.
Thank you. And thank you to Joshua for making everything work. So yes, I hope that the rest of the festival is wonderful, and I hope everyone who is writing will continue writing and sharing. So thank you so much for having me this afternoon, and my friend Cordelia is here as well. I'm also now turning my films into images. As you can see here, that is from the film voiceover. And also I'm making wire camera as well, collaborating with someone who's making wire cameras. So if anyone's interested in the art as well, please just come and see us. So yeah, have a wonderful further rest of your day. Take care.